But then I was left with, okay, so I love to do all of these things. Now what? And so discovering theater, it's like, wow, okay. You need visual arts for that. Dance fits into that. Literary art fits into that. This is definitely for me.
That was Keiko Shimosato Carreiro from the San Francisco Mime Troupe Collective. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco, a show about the artists, activists, and working people who make this city so unique. This episode is very special for me. For years, almost going back to when we launched Storied SF, I've wanted to do an episode on the San Francisco Mime Troupe. I can't pinpoint exactly when I learned about them, but for me, the Mime Troupe embodies the heart and soul of what I love about this city. The gritty working class, the art, and the collective, diverse ideals that drew me here a quarter century ago. Last month, through chance, I was invited to record with members of the Mime Troupe Collective. This is part one of what will be a 3-part podcast. Here's the SF Mime Troupe's Keiko Shimosato Carreiro.
My parents were both first-generation immigrants from Japan after World War II. My father came here in the late 50s on a Fulbright scholarship to study medicine in America after Japan was kind of demolished after the war. And my mother came here to visit America for 1 year, which she overstayed her visit. And
They came separately then?
They came separately,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and my mother promised her mother that she would only be gone for a year. But they met at a Japan Society picnic in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and fell in love. And I think 2 weeks after they met, my father proposed to her.
Oh, gosh.
And I think within a year, they had me.
I mean, it was a different time in the world, and who knows the urgency there, or do you know?
I don't know the inner workings of how all that happened, but I'm named Keiko because I was conceived on Cape Cod.
Oh, so. I love that. And also, what a place.
Yeah, no, what a gorgeous place to conceive, and a gorgeous place, I'm sure, to be named after.
You said after World War II. Do you have specific years that you know that your parents came here?
I believe my father got to the United States in, I'm not absolutely sure, but I think it was 57.
Okay.
They got married in 59 and they had me in 60.
Okay.
And yeah, my mother was 27, my father was 30. My mother was already day-old birthday cake by the standards of Japan at the time.
Oh.
So I guess there was a little bit of urgency, but
we love Mom. That's
she had made herself a dress that had a little butterfly sewn on the back of it.
Yes.
And she was wearing Polaroid Ray-Ban sunglasses because she had conjunctivitis.
Oh, no.
My father didn't know that. He thought, oh, my God, such a glamorous woman. And so he fell in love with her. And she was thinking, oh, maybe it's about time I should think about getting married. And so met my father, who was studying to be a doctor here and doing his residency in Boston. Mm-hmm. So I was born in Cambridge, grew up in the Boston Bay area until I was 15. Mm-hmm. So that was in the 70s, grew up through the Vietnam War protests in the late 60s. Mm-hmm. And
were you out there protesting? Were your parents?
I was, as a child. So I went to Burn Your Bra rallies in Harvard Square.
Yes.
And how much consciousness I had about what was going on. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like I knew what was happening. I saw all the signs, the protest signs against the war. My parents and their friends were very much against the war.
I mean, they had just also lived through World War II.
Yeah. Yeah, but in particular, any kind of nuclear proliferation really, just pissed my dad off, and he wrote an article to the Boston Globe, or an editorial to the Boston Globe, and they didn't have like text threads or, like social media chats at that time.
Right.
But he got a lot of like feedback about, about what he was saying about nuclear weapons and nuclear war, and how Japan was like should be a peaceful country and non-militarized. And then there were people who replied that was why Japan could be so successful in their industrialization, because they didn't have to become military, and they were being taken care of by the Americas, and so on and so forth. Anyways,
but he got old-fashioned feedback. Probably
he got
letters
because
or...
that time in Boston, we were probably the only Japanese family in Lexington, Massachusetts, the only Asian family in Lexington, Massachusetts.
Okay.
My sister and I were the only Japanese kids in the entire school district.
Wow.
So when we were going out to the protests, when I was being, like just sort of carted around as a child, I did radio interviews and was asked questions like, "And what do you think about the war?" My response was, "Well, I think war is a terrible thing because a lot of fathers go and they don't come back," which was 7-year-old me.
Right.
And I feel like probably a lot of kids today in this world, all over the world, are feeling the same way.
Right.
But so that consciousness has probably informed my politics for the rest of my, from that point on growing up. I know you asked me for my life story, but I'm dwelling on there's so much minutia.
I think this is important to who you've become. That's formative shit. If it's happening at 7, that's gonna form you and inform.
And it had a lot to do with the kind of friends who welcomed, immigrants into their world too.
Right.
Because my mother was sponsored here by a woman who was a journalist in Japan during World War II and the Korean War. And my father came here on a Fulbright. So they both came here seeking, the American dream in a different way. My father was supposed to go back to Japan and teach what he had learned here. But being a war-torn country, neither one of them, I think, wanted to go back to that. And there was just so much more promise here as a place to raise a family. And before they knew it, they had 3 daughters, so it was like too hard to go back. It was so, my father was still paying off his student loans.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So we, as very young children, it was impossible to bring the whole family back to Japan.
Right. So you are the oldest of 3?
I am the oldest of 3 daughters.
What kind of sibling relationships did y'all have? Did y'all get along?
Yeah, it's mostly a happy story.
Yeah. I like to say, people are into, and this is not to disparage, like people are into horoscopes or that kind of age thing. I think if you have siblings, I think birth order is pretty formative as well. Right?
I have to agree.
Yeah.
That being the eldest, and it's probably the same for other families too, but particularly for me in a Japanese American family with a first-generation immigrant dad, the demands are highest on the eldest. My middle sister, to me, seemed to, get away with things that I never could have. And then the youngest, because she was like, there was a distance. My middle sister and I are only 2 years apart. The youngest one was a surprise, who was 7 years younger than me.
Okay.
So she was always the baby, and at that point, I felt like, oh, she gets away with everything. Yeah. If she's listening to this, oh my God, she'll kill me. Anyway.
I'll just say real quickly, I'm the youngest of 3 as well. We're all brothers, and I'm sure my siblings feel the same. My parents might weigh in on that and be like, well, I like to think of it, I don't have kids myself, but it's like, by the time the 3rd one comes around, you're just like, we're done.
Well,
we're done, and the other 2 can take care of the little one.
Yeah, and back in the age of actual hard copy photography, my father loved cameras, there are many, many pictures of me.
Yes.
And slightly fewer pictures of my middle sister, many pictures of us together. And then when it comes to my youngest sister, there are select few.
Yep.
You know, so
Yep.
I've
Are you close with either of your sisters now, or through your adult life?
sadly, my middle sister has passed away.
She's with the ancestors.
She is with the ancestors.
Okay.
Although she left behind two beautiful daughters that, you know, so they live far away. They live in Iowa, so I wish I was able to be closer to them. My youngest sister and I are very close.
Awesome. Where is she?
So she lives in Iowa.
Oh.
And we didn't get along when she was a kid. I mean, when she was 7 and I was 14, we were worlds apart. But now we were both the ones who were there when my father passed away. I took care of both my parents. And losing our middle sister, definitely, we're the last remaining family members of our nuclear family. So
that can bring people together.
Yeah, and I'm really, I feel blessed that it has.
Yeah.
We actually, for the first time in our lives, traveled to Japan together.
Wow, cool.
And visited my father's hometown of Matsumoto in the Japan Alps. I don't know, I didn't think that we'd ever do that together, but there was a lot of discovery as far as like who we are, where we had come from. It's, you know, very, very fresh.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, let's go back to young Keiko. Did you go to all your like schooling, middle school, high school in the Boston area, or?
Yeah, I went to Mariah Hastings Elementary School in Lexington, Massachusetts. And what was my junior high called? Oh, Diamond Junior High, also in Lexington, Massachusetts. I started my first 2 years of high school also at Lexington High School, and then my father decided that it was time to move the family from the Boston area to Iowa.
That's the Iowa connection.
Yes.
There it is.
Yeah.
Was it a job or an opportunity for him?
It was a job and an opportunity, and it was also getting away from certain things that happened in Boston. I mean, it's like, I guess the underlying cause is racism.
Yeah.
He felt like he was not being appreciated at the hospital where he was working, and he wasn't getting promoted while other people all around him were getting promoted. And then he was offered a job at the University of Iowa, and God, why? I don't know. But
yeah, well, we all benefit from hindsight.
Yeah.
With that decision.
Yeah.
I also don't know Iowa well, so I'm not going to generalize. But what city is that in?
The University of Iowa. And in the end, I ended up loving Iowa.
There's parts of Iowa, for sure.
Gorgeous skies.
College towns.
Yeah, we were at the University. Iowa City is home of the Hawks.
Okay.
University of Iowa.
Football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 15-and-a-half-year-old me, like, arriving at my parents' house and, like, looking out, or the house that they had bought. I got there later than they did, and looking out the back window, there's, like, cornfields and a barn.
Yeah, that was the image I already kind of had in my head.
I didn't know what to expect, but I was like, oh my, because I was happily, living my life, going off to hang out in Harvard Square every day. And I mean, I had a boyfriend. He was going to be a mechanic and have his own mechanic shop. We were going to get married, blah, 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 blah. I'm really glad my father saved me from that in some ways.
Sure. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, thanks. So,
and then what happened? So you finished high school in Iowa?
I did. I finished high school in Iowa. And I think the saving grace for me, because I got to Iowa and I didn't fit into the high school really well at first, except for in our band. I mean, I had been playing flute in high school in Lexington, and so continued to do that and wanted to be a music major at the time.
Okay.
So,
I'm an ex-flute player, just
Oh.
from my middle school days.
awesome.
Yeah, just want to sneak that in there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was my way of calming myself down, I guess. I found a lot of comfort in playing the flute because everything else, the transition was kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, once again, I mean, were there other Japanese folks around? Were there any Asians?
Oh,
Any
no.
people of color?
You're very correct. There were no Asian grocery stores.
Right.
And once again, my parents kind of helped to start the first Asian grocery store
that's
in
rad.
Iowa City.
That's wonderful.
And then during the time that we were there were more and more Asian immigrants, not specifically Japanese, but more and more Vietnamese immigrants and Southeast Asian immigrants who came, and Korean immigrants who came. And so we had a grocery store that was Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese food.
I want to go to that store.
But now when I go visit my sister in Iowa City, there are so many more Asians in the Midwest now than there were when I was growing up there in the 70s and early 80s.
Yeah. I wonder if the school acted as a sort of a conduit for that. Like, so some of that is probably post-war refugee type of migration, right? But eventually the school can attract
for
minds
sure.
from all over the world.
No, the University of Iowa has a great international writers program that brought in. So it was Iowa City is a surprisingly international center within Iowa.
Within the cornfields.
Within the cornfields.
Right.
And every time I go back, it looks a little different. There's more like Asian restaurants, and there's a new Asian grocery store. But I haven't been back in a while, so I don't know. Things like always shift and change.
Sure. Did you go to college?
I did, and since I was there in the middle of the cornfields and the University of Iowa was right there, I graduated high school a year early because it was not my favorite time.
Yeah.
I was just
So
very...
you just kind of worked your butt off and did it to get out.
With fellow friends who also felt the same way. Like, we're not learning what we want to learn.
Right.
We want to be able to express ourselves and speak out against what's happening. We need to get out of here and start going to college or doing, getting out into the world and doing something else. So, since the university was right there, I started taking classes while I was in high school.
Wow.
And very soon, I got a full musical scholarship to study flute at the University of Iowa. It was lovely, but I found that practicing 8 hours a day, or not, I wasn't that dedicated, but 5 to 6 hours a day in a little tiny practice room was not my thing. I wanted to interact with other humans, and it was great to like play in chamber orchestra or in different small groups, but I took one acting class just for fun, and that kind of like just felt more like what I really wanted to do.
It flipped a switch for you.
Yeah, it flipped a switch. And also, I forgot to say that when I got the scholarship, oh God, sorry, Dad. When I got the scholarship to study music, I told my father that I had gotten this scholarship, and his response was, I never told you could go to college. I didn't tell you that you could apply for this scholarship. I never told you could major in music. And complete disapproval on that, even though I had thought that I was doing what I ought to do. But I shouldn't have been a music major. I ought to have gone into medicine. Yeah. So since I had already like kind of crashed the party and like met with disapproval, I ended up taking more and more theater classes and eventually changing my major to be, what is it called? I don't know. It's like a master of whatever. I mean, a bachelor. Yes, bachelor of interdisciplinary arts.
Okay.
So I just freed myself up to like, I want to take some dance. I want to take some ceramics. I wanted to learn how to draw. I want to learn how to paint. I want to learn how to write. So I took all of those classes, not thinking what kind of a career would that end up in. I'm sure my father was very worried because the response was, we encouraged you as a child and gave you music lessons and encouraged you to take art classes, but that was not supposed to be your job. Right. That was just to round out your character.
Yeah.
And I was like, how was I supposed to know that? But then I was left with, okay, so I love to do all of these things. Now what? Mm-hmm. And so discovering theater, it's like, wow, okay. You need visual arts for that. Dance fits into that. Literary art fits into that. This is definitely for me.
Music,
like, oh yeah,
costumes.
Yeah. People, interaction.
Sometimes dance, yeah.
Yeah. So, taking that one class that was just for fun and then feeling like getting positive feedback, but also feeling like, oh, well, I'm not really liking my own life necessarily right now, but I'm really enjoying, putting myself into this other character. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't have children, but I do have some nephews, and I always think it's as important, if not more important, to find something you love doing than something that you do very well. Because I think if you love it, you will eventually do it very well, if not right away. So it sounds like you went that kind of same route, whereas might not have been what your parents wanted for you, but okay. So
I'm shaking my head no. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're in San Francisco. How did that happen?
Okay, so it was a cold winter day, literally. A cold winter day, I got a phone call from Paul Kirby of the Caravan Stage Company in Canada. And at the time, I kind of glossed over all of this stuff, but I married my clown teacher when I was in undergrad. Anyways.
Okay. There's a grimace on Keiko's face.
Well, yeah, it didn't end up sticking.
Yeah,
But
okay.
he was from Canada. This theater company was from Canada. They were actually calling for him and soliciting, looking for actors. He had studied at Del Arte School of Mime and Comedy. And they called, and I said, well, he isn't home right now. And they described the job. We're a horse-drawn theater company in Canada, and we were wanting to know if Bill would want to come and work with us this summer. And then they asked me about me, and then they said, and what's your relation to Bill? And I said, oh, I'm his wife. And they were like, oh, well, we don't like to separate couples. What do you do? Well, I'm an actor. And I was like, oh, well, would you be interested? Yes. So we ended up coming to California, where the tour was coming down from Vancouver or Armstrong, BC, where they were headquartered.
Okay.
And coming down through California, we hit them up in Redding.
Yeah.
And lived in tents on a ranch.
I know it's hot in the summer in Redding. Is it cold in the winter?
It's very cold in the winter.
Yeah, they actually have weather.
Which is where, when we arrived, like just as the snow was melting. But, so then I spent the next year and a half traveling with horse-drawn wagons driven by Clydesdale horses.
Wow.
5 wagons, 13 Clydesdales, 5 light horses.
And that's the whole company.
Well, there were humans too involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, oh no.
And we set up a tent that would accommodate about 700 audience members. The wagons had like batteries that were charged up by the wagon wheels as we traveled,
Awesome.
although they stopped working during mid-run. That's okay. We had a generator as well. But the show was also political theater, mostly about climate and ecological things, because we would end up setting up the tent in a field on a farm and came down throughout California 8 miles an hour, or sometimes 10 miles an hour, stopping traffic all along the way, pissing people off, people, oh God. It's like, when is the last time you've seen a horse-drawn caravan? Never, right? Just
Correct.
Enjoy it.
Yes. I'm guessing this is now in the 80s.
This is now in the mid-80s.
Mid-80s, okay.
Yeah.
The Reagan years, let's just, I guess, say. So,
yes.
I mean, there's never a shortage of things to protest in this country, and but that was a very specifically heated time. Did you come to San Francisco on that tour?
I did.
Okay. Was that your first time to be here?
I came here once when I was 13 on a school field trip.
Do you remember it?
I remember it very well.
Yeah.
I loved San Francisco. We came on a California trip. We went to Yosemite Valley, Grand Canyon, and ended up with one whole day in San Francisco. And, I had to go to the Haight and check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like in my mind as a place I would like to come back to.
Mm-hmm.
But I never thought that I would end up just plunking down and living here.
Yeah. I relate to that 100%. When I moved here, I didn't have a plan. I was just like, I need this right now, 26 years later.
Right.
Yeah, I relate to that. So what's the story of you deciding to
stay here?
To stay, yes.
Right. So the Caravan Stage Company ended up in the Bay Area. And I should have gone back to the University of Iowa to finish my MFA, but the thought of going back to an Iowa winter was really distasteful to me at the time. And I got a job doing a show with World of Tales Theater Company. We did children's theater. And I was like, well, maybe I could just start acting. Maybe I don't need the MFA in textile design, which my MFA was going to be in textile design. I decided to stay in San Francisco. And then an audition came up for me for the Dragon Lady's Revenge, which the Mime Troupe did in 86.
Okay.
And I did that tour. That was my first show. Joined the collective in 86. And I've been here ever since. A long time.
40 years.
Yes.
Amazing. So now we have your story. Now you're with the SF Mime Troupe.
That has landed me here at the Mime Troupe.
That was Keiko Shimosato Carreiro. We recorded this podcast at the SF Mime Troupe studio in the Mission. On the next episode of Storied San Francisco, meet the Mime Troupe Collective's Michael Gene Sullivan. Part 2 drops tomorrow, Wednesday, July 1st, wherever you get podcasts. Music for Storied San Francisco was produced, performed, and curated by Otis McDonald. Our contributing producer is Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in our 8th season, we have more than 300 episodes available on our website, storiedsf.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If possible, please rate and review the show. I want to know what you think. Find us on Substack for our monthly newsletter and more. And follow us on Instagram and Threads at storiedsf. Reach us there or email us at storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Try to stay hopeful in these dark times. Keep being wacky, creative, and kind out there. And we'll see you next time on Storied San Francisco. We acknowledge and respect the first humans of the unceded land we call San Francisco, the Ramaytush Ohlone. We condemn the genocide of these and other tribes across the Western Hemisphere. We honor their legacy and history, and we support rematriation and sovereignty efforts.